Good evening, folks. This is Darth Ravage 07 coming at you with part 4 of my Need for Speed series this week. We have again on the turntable the F-14 Tomcat with its flaws with the landing gear, and it has a clean silhouette and profile. They could have added some landing gear, like a couple of the vehicles I'm getting ready to show you came from the 2010 line, and I am going to do some comparison with them. I just want to say thank you again to all those who have subscribed to my channel so far. Make sure to smash that like button, comment, share, all the things, subscribe, and let's get to it. And joining them on the turntable are two different characters, same mold. This is Thunderwing from the Classics 2.0 Generations line, and this is Sky Shadow. And we're going to go around the lap here and let you see the side profile there. You got the dorsal fins. This kind of reminds me of, from the starboard profile, we have them like on the turntable there. We're going to do a rear profile, kind of take a look at that. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit, and you can see they got vectoring thrusters, kind of Cybertronian looking, but it's the duality, the dual dorsal fins, and the whole 9 yards. But where the two Classics 2.0 stuff does excel is it's got real launching weapons, like in this mode. Hang on, oh, there it is. So then you can like boom, and it will launch and go across the room. I love the way that this looks right here with the paint and whatnot. It's kind of like a lost art between this and that, but what more importantly is it was sitting on actual rolling real landing gear, and that to me is bigger than anything. I don't know why this was totally abandoned altogether. It was probably the strongest feature with this, because as you can see, the fuselage is just a robot underneath the jet mode, like a lot of jet modes are, but it's got these awesome, impressive, even highly detailed with the other missiles. So if you say you've lost that missile, and you can still pose this with that and the robot hands, and it looks amazing. Like when you get to there. Let's get Thunderwing out here in just a second. After I get this guy, yeah, so you can still wiggle and move and vector those thrusters. This kind of reminds me of Firefox. It's an old Clint Eastwood movie, jet movie, imagine that. And I'm sorry, my dad raised me on Star Wars and all things nerdy, and Firefox was another thing from that era and that time. And if you watch over on Patriot Prime's shorts in his channel, he just did the G1 Thunderwing, and this is an actual transforming robot. But in this, it's just another drone. So it comes off and boom. That's all you get out of this action on this guy. But it's got the same hollowness as if when you go to watch that over, or if you have that, you already know this. And it's really, really kind of cool. But the rolling landing gear, this needs to be brought back. I mean, I could add some paint to that even, but I mean, that's just another lost art kind of thing. And I guess that does have a little bit of detail I need to go over. It has a little engine thruster there, but it doesn't transform. If you got the original G1 Thunderwing, it transforms. It's like a Pretender kind of shell thing, and it fits inside of the chest area. Anyway, I just really do love this. You can also do a couple other things with this jet mode, and there it is, looking head on, the landing gear down. The launch is really good with the missiles and whatnot. So there's that coming at you in 3D, boom. And then anyway, even with the missiles, it still looks really, really awesome, badass. I love jet modes, and I love it with landing gear that actually retracts back up into the bottom and looks even sweeter. So it's very swooshable. And the other thing that's really cool about this, kind of like the F-14, it has some vectoring, swinging wings, but due to transformation. But you got that action going on, like, and/or you can change these little things around here and be a little bit creative. And so you've got like a strafing kind of, or landing mode, or what, I don't know. Anyway, I just think that looks really, really sweet and awesome still. I mean, it's a great looking profile. And when you get into robot mode, it really sings there too. So speaking of that, let's get these guys in the robot mode, keep comparisons going. And thanks again for watching my channel. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. I know that Jetfire of the Siege line has this kind of landing gear built in at a commander class and price point. That should be a no-brainer. And or the Masterpiece is supposed to have those built in. Okay, let me get this thing found. Let me get these transformed. Thanks again for watching. And here are the flyboys on the table, and I gotta say, This just looks amazing. This is the detail that went into a deluxe back in 2010. The eyes are light piped, has beautiful paint, sculpt, the whole 9 yards. The only thing that this thing doesn't got is a waist swivel, and it's a scary hinge, especially on this guy because it's made of gold. So we know what that happens with the gold stuff. But anyway, that's just gold paint, and the rest of it's not that same whole, hopefully stuff that won't break. And yeah, it's got the wing and nose cone on the back, and the rest of it's robot mode. But that's the trade-off you get with some of these. So hopefully the fuselages can get cleaned up in the future, and it's got wrist swivel and elbow, and if it didn't have that big stuff, it would have a little bit more articulation there. This is pretty true to the character or whatever, and I really do love these 2.0s that we got back in 2010. Can't believe that these landing gear did not continue to evolve and get better over time, and all they did is just went with the plastic nub stuff. Kind of like this guy right here. It's a Harrier jump jet, and you need a MiG or a bad guy to get in there and fight with it. This has one retractable landing gear, and at least these kind of fold up underneath, but that's also a sloppy job done there, and a faux cockpit just for that. This is like one of the reveal the I think it was reveal the shield. Is it a reveal? I don't see the reveal the shield on it. It was definitely a Revenge of the Fallen jet mode. It was Dirge originally, and I forget what this guy was even called, but I like the light blue and the colors of it and the Decepticon symbols there. And it was a little bit of a later release. I think this was with the reveal of the shield line though, and it may be that the actual rub symbol is under there somewhere. And like, anyway, so you gotta have other MiGs or the jets for them to fight against, and that's just another way that they did this with the Harrier jump jet. Give it a split tail instead of a single dorsal fin like the real life model. I guess that's just to keep it away from being copyright issues, but the rest of it, for lack of a better word, is definitely a Harrier jump jet, and looks really, this is just really awesome. Getting back to these guys though, I just hate the way that the landing gear evolved and got cheaper as we went along. Another thing that these guys did better than this guy's from 2006. We have Classics Astrotrain, and while this is a really cool concept, it's got the train bits there on the sides and whatnot. I love the shuttle program and the shuttles. It has the rub sign on top. That is just a lost art these days. You see the wear from over time, from 2006 to 2022. Can't believe it's been that long, but I was really hoping we got a Voyager version, or when it first came out, I was hoping that was Voyager. That looks really good there in the back, and I like the idea that it did the front of the train kind of like some boosters. So, I mean, they could have done stuff better over time, but they chose not to. The only thing that this did weekly in 2006 was it had non-retractable landing gear there, and it had one retractable landing gear up here. But it did have weapon stowage on the belly of the beast, and the other thing that this did superbly was play feature. You can make it blast off. So I mean, come on guys at Hasbro, engineers, you laid down over the years on this, and while you can still see the wheels for the train mode out here on the wings, it doesn't bother me nowhere near as bad. And this is still a really nice mold, even though it's kind of falling apart there. And anyway, that's what I mean by doing it better and cleaner. They started off kind of strong with it, and they just kind of fumbled the ball. Engineers over time, I guess people, jobs change and all that stuff, and I get it. But this is really cool because it's two different pieces. They got the two different bits there, and it's like real landing gear with the two wheels there. So I mean, and it rolls really good and whatnot, and it just goes back into the play factor there. I mean, even collectors like to play like myself every once in a while, and like I said, I love the shuttle program. So anyway, so that's another. They did it, but this is a clear example of how not to do it. And then it graduated to this other Revenge of the Fallen stuff. And these nubs, this is, even though it's retractable, I just don't like the nubs. They should keep the wheels. I mean, come on, guys. This is depth charge from the timelines. And then another more recent jet fighter. We have Dark of the Moon with Revenge of the Fallen Tampos Starscream. If it looks any a bit familiar, this is a deluxe class size, and it has the landing gear, but it's no paint on it, and it does retract. But I mean, that fuselage is ugly. So anyway, I just can't believe how they didn't, you know, they were right there getting ready to knock it out of the park. And that actually conceals. I like the way that does, even though it's that damn gold stuff or that bronze stuff that over time it could, you know, possibly fall apart or disintegrate. I think that's been addressed here. That's more bronze than it is gold. But I mean, F-22 Raptor, that's still really an awesome ride. And it graduated to the Studio Series. Literally, figuratively and literally. All they did was upsize it to a Voyager, and they give it more paint and whatnot. But that's pretty near identical on the bottom fuselage, and I kind of feel let down. And I'm looking at this side by side. It's the first time I've done it since I've had this for a while, but didn't really pull it out when the Studio Series came out. And now that I'm looking at it, it is identical but upsized. So there's a Voyager version. We got a preview in Dark of the Moon 2011 of the new stuff, like from 2019, 2020. Yeah, so, and I like that way better because it's actually the Air Force stuff. So jet mode looks great, fuselage not so great. And there's a bigger version. I'll try to do a comparison of these later to let you see that it can be done better and cleaner, because the fuselage on the big one that I got from Walmart was a $49 one. It was mismarked when it went online. I got it for $34, and that was with free shipping. So that was really awesome. Back in 1984, we have the original G1 Starscream, and he had the nubs, but then there's the ugly undercarriage carrying through and visible face. But these things would, I don't know why you would want null rate to launch, but it can do that. And on mine, I don't have to do a mod because it's like the pegs were too big. And if I remember this from G1, these sat flush back in the day. Plus I need to clean up whatever that is from over time in space or whatever. This was the reissue from that when Toys R Us had these guys in, and I finally got that Starscream that, you know, Maverick's son, or not Maverick's son, Deuce's son Rooster had in that movie all those years ago. And this is another thing I just really can't think of, that it graduated to having nothing at all, but just that this is the Coronation's Crown Starscream with the cloak and whatnot, just a repaint and retool, and you can see it there with the whatnot. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this looks superb right there, and why it didn't carry over into robot mode and have the superior robot mode with all this articulation is beyond me. This is how you do a proper seeker with the accompanying ankle tilt and rockers. This is, look at that. I mean, this is just the example of how you'd want to do it. And look at that beautiful smirk. And he's also got backlight, light piping and whatnot. I got some Toy Hacks repro labels on there, and that just looks phenomenal. And then there's the back side of that. So I mean, it evoked the whole G1 thing with the repro labels. It really did the fine job of evoking it for Cybertronian mode. But this is definitely in my repertoire, even with the Masterpiece Thundercracker I got downstairs still. This is an example of the best way of doing a Transformer Seeker. So I'd like to see them take this for the future, especially when they went and just basically upsized the 2.0. I just can't hold my Transformers, I tell you. I just get so upset and frustrated. This looks amazing, that not so much, but I mean, no landing gear in this day and age, there's no excuse. This is just going to get rubbed and see the original one of these is already got the wear there. So I mean, come on, Hasbro. You had a beautiful thing going. You had a chance to capitalize and supermarket, you know, this whole shebang with the Top Gun crossover or whatnot. You could have had MiGs and what have you with it, but just kind of like, I feel like I'm rushing this whole issue here. It just wasn't thought out, man. It's just like, come on, guys. Because this even has the wrist articulation, the double up. This is the best articulating version of what should be applied moving forward to the stuff. Plus with the landing gear, be it like these guys and or however the size class, it should graduate with it instead of being a step two behind. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little rant, little, you know, comparison and the whole shebang. I'm going to go back and try to do something now that I've found all this other stuff and give like for each jets, you know, which one's my favorites and that kind of thing a little bit later, focusing solely on the jets and whatnot. These guys were ahead of their time, and then this is what it should have graduated to when it comes to robot modes. And that's, if the engineering for this was applied to this, a lot of people would be jumping on board and grabbing it. The plastic quality is totally different. If the plastic quality was this to that, and a better paint job, because this was all drowned out and I had to go and panel line it and whatnot. I mean, bam, even with me dropping Sky Shadow down like all over the place, he's probably getting tired of that. I mean, come on, we were so close. I'd like to see Hasbro go back and apply lessons learned using the Seeker Siege articulation, give the jet modes and the fans what they want with really, really awesome jet formers, and give us some awesome crossovers to boot. I mean, I think even like with the Jurassic Park, the truck JP93 has its shortcomings, but we're not going to go into that right now. That's for another movie, another time. This was Top Gun Need for Speed. They should be doing it better and cleaner than the other guy, and hopefully they can take a lessons learned off of this and other videos and get us there. All right, guys, I'm really still excited moving forward with this. Been doing this for years. So long as we can get whenever inflation stops boosting the price to the roof, making it difficult to do this now, or makes you reassess, and I'll just be happy with what I got and not spend any more money on it. I'll probably just do Masterpiece, and even if I still do Masterpiece, it's still going to take a hit on the old, you know, proverbial bottom line. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys go catch Top Gun this weekend. Thank you for listening to me. I'm over my time limit, and I hope you guys have a blast and are safe. Take care, everybody. Till R1. Thanks again for watching.